Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Crochet and Coffee here, and today we are doing a whip and chat. So get out whatever it is you're working on and come work along with me. As you can see, I am working on La Mort. La Mort is a 50 by 70. She is a round with special version 3 enhancements, and that's what she's going to look like in case you weren't here before. If you're new to the channel, hi, I'm Miss Coffee. How you doing? If you're coming back and returning to the madness, well, welcome. You know what this is about. So, whip and chat. It's just essentially where I sit here and I work on my kit with you and we talk about the happenings in the coffee house. So yeah. So I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I hope everybody had a lot of fun watching the Super Bowl if that's what you did. I am not a football person. I did root for the Chiefs, so yay. But I'm not a Super Bowl person. I was lucky enough to marry a guy that does not watch football. So we didn't watch the Super Bowl. We spent the entire day being drove crazy by Maggie. Yay. Between like, we had like the best weekend ever. One. The amount of cleaning I did this weekend was disrespectful. And it wasn't even just to the house. Like, I did clean my house, obviously. All right, so what you're looking at here right now, before I get started in my whip and chat, I did her hair. Her hair is mixed colors of 939 and 839, or 830, or 8, sorry, 939 and 823. So I went ahead and did all of her hair. And now I left her bones to be completed because I wanted to get to her butt while you guys were here. Because I said in my in the live that I was going to save her butt for my whip and chat. And this is, you know, her pelvic areas. If she had a butt, this is where it would be. So that's what you're looking at now, which, if you're wondering, like, you know, why is part of it done and the other part? Because I saved the bones so I can have a bone to pick with you guys. That's awful. Anyways. But yes, the weekend was great. We sat around and did a lot of nothing for a good portion of the weekend. We played with the kids, obviously. Orion actually had a play date. Orion, one of Orion's little friends, which, do you call it a play date when they're 8 years old? Like, did they just have friends that come hang out? I think okay, we're just going to say he had a friend come hang out because he's not a baby, so he didn't have a play date. But his little friend that used to live in the apartments here came to hang out. His name is Jack. Jack is a cool little guy that comes over and hangs out with Orion. Again, he used to live here, but then they moved like right before the end of summer. And so now Jack lives somewhere else. I don't know where Jack lives, but Orion and Jack are like best friends at school. So every once in a while, Jack's mom will be like, hey, can Jack come over and play? Heck yeah, he can come over and play. Jack got my kids out of the house. So I, of course, allowed Jack to come over and play with the kids for a while. He came over and hung out with Orion. Whenever Jack comes over, I forget that the kids are here. That's how awesome it is to have Jack over. So I'm hoping that I can steal Jack for a weekend for a sleepover, because Orion hasn't had a sleepover with any of his friends ever. Maggie has. When we lived at our old place, we used to live next to one of my friends, where she used to be a friend. And her daughter and Maggie used to play together all the time. They were essentially the same kid. They seem to be still are. But Maggie would have her sleep over all the time because, you know, she lived next door, so why not? So Orion has never had a sleepover with his friends before, so we're hoping that we can get Jack to come over and have a sleepover sometime soon. I'm stabbing my wax right now because I've noticed I'm having some issues getting the wax or the drills. There we go. So yeah, so Jack came over on Saturday and played with kids, which was great because I had some business to tend to. Look, listen. My car is more than just a car. If you are a mom like me, your car is more than a car. It's your transport for your children, your dogs, your life is in that car. So I try to take good care of my car, but I was slacking in one area, vacuuming my car. Now, why would I need to vacuum my car? Because every day, during Monday through Friday, that is, I transport the dogs in my car. And because I do that, and my dogs are heavy shedders, so if you're new, I have a German Shepherd named Daisy and a Siberian Husky named Killian Jones. They are both very heavy shedders. Like, if you have a heavy shedding dog, if you can figure it out, put a little doggy emoji in chat or in the comment section because, yeah, the fur life is real. I did know it was Groundhog's Day on Sunday, and Punxsutawney Phil. I used to live in Pennsylvania, so he was a big thing in Pennsylvania. I didn't realize that all the way out this way that they also like were huge in the Punxsutawney Phil superstition. But Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow, which means we're supposed to get an early spring, which is what I kind of told Mr. Coffee because Killian molted way too fast to get his spring coat. And I was like, something's up. I can tell because now when I open my car, it's like a small dog is leaving and exiting my windows. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, there is literally so much fur in my car right now. It looks like if I were to open the window, it looks like a bunch of tiny puppies just jumping out of my car. There was so much fur in my car. So I was like, I have had enough of all the fur in the car. Orion's not allergic to the fur, but I was, worried that he would start having a reaction because it's been a while since I've vacuumed out my car. So I was like, I really need to get to vacuuming out my car this weekend. So I did. For 2 hours, I vacuumed out that car to get not all, I lied. To get out as much fur as I can, because if you know fur and you have a heavily shedding dog, there's no way to get all of it. You can get most of it, but you're not getting all of it. I use this brush called a Slick Easy brush. And I brushed the upholstery in the car. Now, my car has leather seats, but on the back of it, it's upholstery. So I used the brush to brush off as much fur as I could, off the carpets, off the back of the seats. The front of the seats, I just vacuumed it right off of Maggie's car seat, because if you didn't know, whenever the kids get out of school in the morning, Killian Jones likes to jump into the second row. Now, I have third row seating in my car. The first row is, of course, where I sit, and then the second row is where the kids sit, and then the third row seating, it actually folds down into the car to make a bigger trunk, which is where the dogs sit. I don't use my third row seating because I have 2 children, but I have 2 dogs as well that stay here with me. So, I use the third row folded down for the dogs. Well, I went ahead and there's a tarp back there. There's actually 2 tarps. Just in case they've never had an accident in the car. Like, they don't get sick in the car. Daisy will whine in the car, but she doesn't get sick or anything. Like, is that a common thing among dog people or among pets in general? Because I know we had a cat growing up named Leo, and he would get sick in the car. Like, he would get horrible car sickness. But Killian and Daisy do not get car sickness. So, but I do have an extra tarp in the car for them for that. And then there's a tarp on top of that one to catch all the dog fur and grossness that, they might emit. So I had to take both of those tarps out, shake them off, vacuum them off, and I essentially swept the one off. I just took the broom and literally just swept all the fur I could off of it. It looks amazing now. The other tarp was underneath that one, so it didn't really have a whole lot of fur on it. It had some fur on it, but I went ahead and swept that off. You would have thought, if you were walking around the corner of my building, you would have thought that there was a bunch of small puppies running away, because it was windy. So the wind was carrying all the fur away. I had all the car doors open, all the windows open, and the wind was just blowing through the car, helping me get some of that fur out of the car. After 2 hours of vacuuming my car, I was finally able to look at it and go, oh my God, it looks like the car I purchased minus a few footprint stains on the carpet from the kids jumping in and out of the car. So I was pretty happy about that. I was highly motivated. You ever get up and you just have the best attitude ever, and you're like, I can do anything. I'm going to do all the things. That was me Saturday. I woke up and I was just like, I'm going to do everything. I got up. I fed the kids. I walked the dogs. I don't usually walk the dogs on the weekends. But I was like, you know what? I could use the exercise today, and it's nice out. I walked the dogs. I let Mr. Coffee sleep in, which I know not to do, but I let him do it anyways. The reason you don't let Mr. Coffee sleep in, I don't know if anybody else's spouse is like this, but Mr. Coffee is a horrible grouch whenever you let him sleep in. Like, when he wakes up, he is grumpy, and I'm like, take that sad sack back to the bedroom, because no, you're not going to sleep in and then wake up with an attitude. Like, I'll punch you right in the pee hole. Yeah, that's a thing in my house. That's a major threat in my house. I will straight up punch my husband right in the pee hole. Have I ever done it? No, I would never actually punch him in the pee hole. But he doesn't know that. To him, I'm crazy. So he don't know what I'm capable of. So when I tell him that, he just kind of looks at me like I'm crazy in the face. So yeah, so I was just kind of like, you know, I want to do all the things. So I walked the dogs, I fed the kids, I got them their medicine, I cleaned out my car, I sat and talked to friends for a little bit, I ordered dinner, we had Chinese food, oh yeah, I had some kind of soup, I think it's wonton soup. Now, he's let me taste it before, and I was just like, it's alright. Well, then I was talking to Laura Law's Craft Corner, and she was eating some, and it made me really hungry for some, so I ordered some. Oh my god, y'all. Have you ever had the wonton soup, the little wontons, the little fried ones, the little fried noodles, and you dip them in the sweet and sour chicken sauce? Oh, good God. Or the duck sauce. Oh my God, it's delicious. So, we had Chinese food for dinner Friday? No. Friday, the kids wanted oatmeal again. So we had oatmeal for the kids, and me and Mr. Coffee had hot and spicy sandwiches and french fries, and the kids got some french fries. They don't eat the hot and spicy sandwiches, so they just wanted french fries with their oatmeal, which was a very weird combination, but hey, they ate food. Maggie ate something that wasn't peanut butter crackers. Now, she's still on the kick of the peanut butter crackers, but for the most part, she actually ate something else besides peanut butter crackers. She did really good this weekend. Up until Sunday, Maggie was just doing the most. At one point, I looked over and she had taken Killian and put him on his leash and then had him pulling her through the house on a box. Like, she had opened the box up that I got I bought one of those little cheap, like, handheld vacuums for the car. And Maggie has decided that she was going to use it as a sleigh. And Killian's a sled dog, so why not use him to pull me throughout the house? So that's what she did. And surprisingly enough, it worked. He actually pulled her throughout the house, and I was just like, oh, good God. Yes, for those wondering and laughing. Yeah, you're getting a regular whip and chat today where we're actually putting down drills. We're not doing reverse whip and chat. Hopefully we won't have to do that again, but never say never, folks. And of course, they're clumpy now because of their sticky. So I just kind of push them down a little bit to get them to unclump themselves. But once you put we all know, once you put symbols down on the wrong thing and pick them back up, they never stick the same again. Like, anyways. But yeah, Maggie was essentially using Killian as a sled dog and getting him to pull her throughout the house. Orion was playing with his little friends Saturday. Maggie actually got to play with them too, which was nice. And then Maggie had decided she was going to spend all day Sunday just causing unholy havoc all over the house and just doing the most with everything she did. She just would not sit down. She wanted to do this. And we decided, you know what, maybe she's acting out because she needs more attention. The problem is we give her more attention than Orion because Orion just wants to be left alone. I always felt like Maggie was my boy and Orion was my girl, mainly in the aspect of a lot of the issues that a lot of my like friends and even subscribers have mentioned to me, like the not being able to keep the room clean and not wanting to do certain things. Maggie shows those signs. Like, Maggie's room is a freaking tornado. Orion's room is immaculate. This boy is almost 9 years old. Orion turns 9 on February 11th. We asked him what he wanted for his birthday, because his birthday's, right around tax time. So, like I said last time, he usually gets a pretty good gift for his birthday. So we asked him what he wants, and he's like, Roblox stuff. So I was like, okay. So I went online, and I got him 3 books. How to Draw Roblox Characters, a coloring book of Roblox, and a Look and Find book for Roblox, because of course he likes to read, but they didn't have any like Roblox literature. So I got him Find the Noob. I don't know. It's a weird book that he likes. So I got him the 3 books, and I'm like, if we get him anything else, it'll just be cake on top of the 3 books, because I think the 3 books is plenty. And Mr. Coffee says, yeah. Because right now, Orion's at this age where he likes to read. And so he'll sit in his room and read for a little bit. He'll play his little video games. He'll play on his tablet. He'll do like some random, like they do rocket math at school, which is where they're timed to see how fast they can do math problems. Which I'm not sure at what point in life I've ever used that that skill of doing math really fast, especially since I suck at it now. Like, do you ever think back to when you were in school and you did like geometry and you're like, I will never use that again. Why did I have to learn that? And I'm thinking, well, if we're not going to use geometry, can we learn something like how to do our own freaking taxes? Like how to not get bled dry by the government. Like, can there be that kind of class in school? Like, we have home ec. You might as well teach me how to sew and do my taxes. Like, come on now. I always felt like they needed to add more home skill things in school instead of a lot of this crap that you won't need. When will I ever need to do the presidential fitness test again? Like, when? When will I need to do taxes? Every freaking year. So why not teach me about that? I'm just saying. Do you think that's a good, like, do you think schools need more, like, actual things that you're going to need in life versus some of this, like, calculus? I have never, like, if you're going for something like a big wig job of some sort somewhere that possibly uses calculus, I'm not sure what kind of job would use calculus. If you do, put that down in the comment section, because I have no freaking clue. But I feel like schools don't teach anyone any kind of home skills. And so, like, well, you get, like, home ec, how to bake. You can bake a cake or some bread. Because, you know, you're in the 1900s, so we got to teach the future of tomorrow how to make bread, because there won't be stoves or grocery stores to buy the bread from, because the zombie apocalypse is coming. So they're going to at least need to know how to make bread. They're not Jesus. They don't need to know how to make bread. Teach them how to make a dinner food. Like, teach them how to make pot roast. And then bring that home for dinner, because, you know, mama tired. Mama tired. I remember once Minna had I think she said something like, Mom, she said something about, I don't do anything all day. And I'm like, let me walk you through what mommy does all day. And I'm like, you know how you magically come home and your room is clean? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, who do you think does it? Room fairies? This ain't Cinderella. I am not Cinderella. I clean your room. I'm like, you know how when you come home from school, there's always a snack ready for you? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, who do you think that does that? Woodland creatures? No. Mama does that. So I had to explain to Minna that being a stay-at-home mom is an actual job. I mean, because I have been defending this since, oh my God, since I stopped working a while ago. I don't usually tell people that I actually, technically, according to the government, I am technically disabled. I don't see me as being disabled. I see it as, just because I have a mental health issue doesn't mean I can't work. I am very capable of working, so I don't like saying that I'm disabled. But according to the government, because I don't get along with others, I can work, but I have mental health issues, and they'd rather me stay home. Look, I can work. There's nothing wrong with me. Like, I just don't take crap from people, and people just assume that just because one minute I'm cussing you out and the next minute I'm telling you how to improve your life, they immediately assume that, you know, oh, well, she's not mentally stable enough to have a job around real people. I think I'd be just fine. I used to be a manager at some point, but then, you know, things happen. Like, you start dating your boss. And anyways, so I remember there was a time, oh, if you haven't guessed, this whipping chat's going to be all over the place. And I might be 2 hours, because I might record an hour today and an hour tomorrow. So if we do another clip and you see a lot more progress done, just know that I did hour today and hour tomorrow. You're welcome. I know you guys like the longer whipping chats, but I felt like a chatty Cathy this morning, and I was like, I just want to get on, turn that camera on, and just chat until my little heart is content. So that's what I'm doing, folks. So I've had to defend being a stay-at-home mom for years. Is there any other stay-at-home moms, even if your kids are out of the house, were you a stay-at-home mom? Put that down in the comment section. I am a stay-at-home mom, And I know some people don't have kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy your freedom. I've been a stay-at-home mom for a number of years. I did return back to the workforce for a little while. I tried the babysitting thing, but in today's society, they make it impossible for you to go back to work as a mother. They make it impossible because childcare is ridiculously expensive. And you're like, how am I supposed to be able to afford that and take care of my kid? Like, if I were to get a job and say, because I mean, I have a degree in business administration and a minor in business management, so I can go work HR somewhere. If I were to get a job in my field, which I have never worked for ever, like I've never worked in HR. Can you imagine me as HR? Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. So if I were to go back to work in my field, you know how much it costs for daycare? And we're going to say daycare without your child being in diapers. If your child is not in diapers, daycare is about $300 to $400 a month. And I know a lot of y'all going, well, that's cheap. Yeah, not when you're only making $500 every 2 weeks. Childcare is super expensive. So we tried it once. We had one of my friends watch my kids. Now, the first babysitter ate up all the food in my house in one day. She was homeless. I didn't realize this. She ate all my food. I came home to her making an entire pack of bacon for her, her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's friend. And so I fired her on the spot. And then I let another one of my friends watch the kids, and she watched them very well for about 9 months. And then I lost my job and decided I was going to go back to work. Well, then me and Mr. Coffee got into a fight one day where he decided to say that being a stay-at-home mom wasn't a real job. I did nothing all day. Now, before you guys go attack Mr. Coffee, because I know a few of you are like, I know he didn't. Oh, yeah, he did. Don't worry. Karma came back to bite him in the butt because he then later down the road had gotten laid off from his job. And I was like, well, you got laid off, and I'm not used to not working. At that point, I had been not used to not working. I had been used to holding my own, making my own money, not depending on somebody else to make money. So I was like, how about this? How about I go back to work, you stay home with the kids, and then you can see what I do every day. That lasted for 2 days. I wasn't happy with the care that he was giving our children, and I forced him to go back to work. He was just like, well, not everybody's going to do things the way you do it. And I'm like, yeah, but the fact that you're sleeping in till noon and essentially listening for the kids were babies at this point. Like, they were tiny, and he didn't like getting up with them. He would get mad because he couldn't spend all day on his video games because, of course, the life of a gamer is being a wife of a gamer in general is hard. But turning that gamer into a grown man with responsibilities, yeah, y'all, thoughts and prayers for real. I mean, Mr. Coffee was one of those guys that thought being a stay-at-home mom wasn't a real job until he had to do it himself. Now, after 2 days, I made him go get another job. He didn't get a job right away, so he ended up staying home with the kids for a month. After that month, he said he'll never do it again. I was like, what's wrong? You didn't get the... Because he thought, like most guys, not all guys, just most of them, he thought that, oh, well, she's a stay-at-home mom, so she don't do shit all day. And then he realized that when they needed changed, he had to change them. When they needed to get up and get dressed, he had to get them up and get them dressed. When they needed a bath, he'd have to bathe them. Which like I said before, Orion was rambunctious when he was a baby. So Orion would have to get a bath every day by lunchtime, because by the time lunchtime came, he was wearing his lunch. So he would have to bathe Orion while keeping Maggie preoccupied and making sure that she wasn't hurting herself, putting her somewhere where she wouldn't hurt herself, and she was entertained and wasn't crying. Y'all, that first day I came home, I thought he was going to die. He passed out at like 7 o'clock. And he's like, I'm like, did you have a busy day? And he just looks at me. He goes, this is what you do every day? I'm like, you'll see. He quickly realized that staying at home didn't mean sitting on my butt doing whatever I wanted to do, that I had to spend the entire day with the kids doing what they needed to be done before I can take care of myself. There were plenty of days where I didn't get a shower, I didn't eat dinner. I haven't had a hot meal in I don't know how long, okay? Like, that's what being a stay-at-home mom's about. Well, he quickly realized that it's not all, unicorn farts and rainbows when it comes to being a stay-at-home mom. And I'm glad he got that experience, because then I have never had a problem with him since. And he will actually defend stay-at-home moms whenever somebody says something because, sorry, there's a piece of fur in there. I always felt lazy being a stay-at-home mom, which sounds weird after that whole spiel, but I felt lazy because he always goes to work, hard grunting work, whereas like even now, I stay at home, I record videos while the kids are at school, I pull out dinner, get dinner prepped before the kids get home, gotta walk dogs, clean the house, and record videos all before picking up the kids at 2 or at 3 o'clock. And of course, I leave an hour early, and so I have from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m. to record videos, walk dogs twice, clean the house, prep dinner, and get ready for the evening. And so I looked at Mr. Coffee last night, and I was like, look, do you think that, because we were watching a video of this guy named Ginger Billy, and he was talking about stay-at-home moms. And I was like clapping. I was like, yep, you ain't going to the bathroom by yourself. Nope, that's not a thing. I got dogs that won't let me go to the bathroom by myself. Even with the kids being the age that they are, they still won't let me go to the damn bathroom by myself. They just won't let me be great when it comes time to go to the bathroom. Like I haven't had a hot meal or privacy in the bathroom in about 13 years. So like, but I'm used to it and I love it and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And Mr. Coffee, I looked at him last night. I'm like, do you think I just sit around here all day and do nothing? Because there's some days where I don't vacuum. Or there's some days where I don't clean the window to the sliding glass door. Or there's some days where I won't, make the bed. Well, I won't make my side of the bed. Because he'll make me up in the bed. Like when he gets out of bed at 5 a.m. to get ready for work, he will make me up in the bed. Like I'm not even there. Like, he's just like, I'm just going to make my side and let your side look like garbage. So then when I get up, get dressed, get the kids up, get them dressed, get their teeth brushed, get their hair combed, get their book bags packed, which I usually have packed the night before, but I have to make sure again because OCD. I have to make sure they have everything they need because even though I do that, they still forget stuff half the time. Like I just realized just now, I forgot to put Orion's reading paper in there. Gosh darn it. Mother chicken. Crap. Now I gotta send. I don't even know if sending the note's gonna do anything now. Gosh. Anyways. So I was like, do you think I'm lazy when I don't, clean up sometimes? And he's like, well, you don't have to clean the house every day. Like and the most that needs to get done, like last night, he forgot to start the dishwasher. And I was like, well, that's fine. I can start it when I wake up. And then by the time I'm ready to do videos, it'll be done. Because I don't like doing videos when the dishwasher's running. I don't like that extra noise in the background. It's distracting. And I get easily distracted. Anybody else easily distracted when trying to craft on things? You're like, you have a thought pop in your head. Ooh, I got to check all my emails right now. That's when you're most productive, is when you're trying to sit down to craft, and then all of a sudden all the things that you have to do pop into your head, and you're just like, oh, I have to go shampoo carpets. I'll do that. And then by the time you sit back down after doing all the things, you're too exhausted to craft, and you're like, guess I missed another crafting day. I do that all the time. Anyways, so I just wanted to know what he thought about me being a stay-at-home mom now that the kids are in school. Because the talk of me going back to the workforce has come up a couple of times, usually by me. He usually never brings it up. He would rather me just collect the disability and stay home. And I'm like, I refuse to collect disability. I will not collect disability. Now, there's nothing wrong if you're on disability. But I don't feel like I should be collecting disability just because I have a mental illness. Like, now, it's different for everyone. So before somebody's in my comment section like, well, mental illness is a real thing, blah, blah, blah. For me, I don't feel like I need to be collecting money for my mental illness. I don't feel like I can't go back to work. I know how to hold my tongue. I just don't do it. The mood swings, that's a thing. But I have gotten a little bit better at controlling them than normal. Not so much with like Mr. Coffee and stuff, but for the most part, like with like drama on my channel and everything like that, I've learned to bite my tongue, pick my battles, and just let things be that aren't like, essentially stay in my own lane and mind my damn business. Drink my water and mind my business. So I'm like, I don't feel like I should be collecting disability for my mental illness. Now, Mr. Coffee thinks that I should, since I'm staying home. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, because then that's me. That's me saying I'm disabled to the point where I can't work. I need to collect money from the government. I don't want to do that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you have a mental illness, you do that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But I don't feel like I can't contribute to my household by finding a job. I'm pretty sure I can find a job where I don't work with people, like in a warehouse of some sort. So I don't want to collect the disability. And so I tell him all the time, because then if I collect the disability, I also have to go back on my meds. Not doing that. Hell no. No. I'm good. I don't want the meds. So I asked him last night, what does he think? And he's like, even though you don't clean the house every day, I don't see it as lazy. He goes, your channel is a different type of work. He goes, the amount of time you put into your channel, making videos, editing videos, doing research, and all this other stuff, he goes, that is your job. And it's a job that allows me to be home in case there's an incident at the school with the kids, or in case something happens where, the kids have doctor's appointments. I don't have to worry about calling off work. I am my own boss when it comes to YouTube. So I was like, you know what? You're right. I can do this. But I'm like, but what if I don't want to do it anymore? Like, what if I want to find another, job? Because, I feel like I've kind of peaked on YouTube. Maybe I should move on to find something else. And he goes, well, if that's what you want to do, then, that's something that you need to think about yourself. He goes, but just remember, you've invested a lot of time, effort, and money into your channel. Do you really want to give that up to go pursue something else? And I'm like, I think all the work that I could possibly do for YouTube has been done. I think that I can't really go any further than where I'm at. And I kind of want to do that, one of those like quit when you're ahead type deals. And he's like, well, I wouldn't necessarily quit. Maybe like just lower the amount of videos you do. I'm like, you don't understand. This crazy bipolar brain will not allow me to do that. Like, I immediately start thinking of ideas for the channel. Speaking of ideas, if you've made it this far, I'm going to tell you a little something that you probably haven't seen yet. You won't see it until Thursday. I am currently running an experiment on my channel. I want to see what will happen if you replace the opaque cover on double-sided adhesive. I want to see what happens if you replace that with a clear cover. Will it still bubble and rivet over time? This is something I'm going to do all month round. And I'm going to insert pictures into my whipping chats so that you can see what the image looks like with the clear cover. I did an unboxing for a company called Be Me Creations on, I found them on Instagram. Essentially it's Zuya, because it came with Zuya paper on it. And what I did was I ordered 2 kits. And one of the kits, I replaced the opaque cover. So it came with this cover, and I actually, when I'm recording this, is Monday, so your next clip might be from Tuesday. This is the opaque cover that came with it, okay? This is the clear cover that I put on it, and you'll see that there's markings on the top. It tells you that those bubbles were already there. I want to see what will happen to this kit if I leave it with the clear cover on it. Just because if that's a way to save our double-sided adhesive canvases, I think I might have just revolutionized how we store our kits and how to store them without getting them damaged. So far, it looks like, and this has been like this, like I said, I just unboxed this today. This has actually been like this for 5 or 6 hours. And as you can see, there's no damage. There's 3 spots on it that had bubbles. So right here and the 2 up top here, which is why those markings are on it. So far, no damage has come to it. As you can see, the back is still perfectly straight. So that's my update on that right now. And next week, I'm going to do it again, except for I'm going to take pictures instead of showing you. Because, of course, the only reason I'm able to show it to you now is because of, and you'll see that video on Thursday. So for those of you who make it this far into the video, you actually get a sneak peek of what's to come for Thursday. That unboxing will come Thursday with all my thoughts and everything on the kits. And because I ordered 2 kits, I ordered one and I'm going to keep the opaque cover on it. And then I ordered another one, which I just showed you with the clear cover on it. Now, I put the clear cover on it, and you'll see in the video and everything else, all that fun jazz. So that's like the experiments and stuff that he's talking about. And I'm like, I just want to make this craft enjoyable for everyone. I want people to be able to, if they don't like poured glue, because there are people out there that don't like poured glue. If they don't like poured glue, I want to find them a way to be able to store their canvases without them getting ruined, without them having to worry about bubbles and rivers forming in their kits, because not everybody lives in like a warm climate all the time. Some of us live in very frigidly cold climates. Some of us live in very rainy, damp climates. And the weather doesn't always agree with us whenever it comes to our diamond painting. So I want to find a way to essentially get this craft to be a little bit more cost effective, meaning I can put a kit away and not have to worry about bubbles and rivers forming. So I'm hoping this experiment works. So there's that experiment, you guys. I'm not sure where that tangent came from, but it's a tangent. But I wanted to show you that because I said in the video that I'm going to be showing you in my whipping chats how it's holding up. It's kind of like the clear cover cam. That's a mouthful. So yeah, so Mr. Coffee was just kind of, you know, telling me my YouTube channel is a different type of job where I make my own hours, and like I need to call Maggie's doctor as soon as I'm done on here just so that I can make her an appointment. Her teacher has noticed that she has started daydreaming again, which for those of you who are new to the channel, I have a 7-year-old daughter named Maggie. She has epilepsy. Don't worry, she's fine. But we have her seizures controlled with meds, and every couple of months she has to go see her pediatric neurologist. The only problem is he is in Billings, Montana, and I'm in Williston, North Dakota, which is 40 minutes from the Canadian border, but about 25 minutes away from the Montana border. But it's a 5.5-hour trip one way. So we try to avoid going to see her doctor if it's not necessary. So she has gone a full year without seeing her doctor. So it's about time for her to go in for a checkup and for them to check and see what's going on. Because she's having growth spurts out the yin yang. And because she's having the growth spurts, we're keep having to up her meds. But this time I want to have her actually seen for like a workup to make sure that everything is still working okay. And if they do need to up her meds, you know, they can tell me exactly what to do there. Plus they like to run tests and everything. She just had an EEG or something happen a couple months ago, and they like to do it there in Billings. So if we make the appointment in time, they can set her up for an EEG and an EKG and all that fun jazz, because she has to have an EKG as well, because on top of her epilepsy, Maggie also has 3 little pin-sized holes in her heart. Now, Maggie was born with heart murmurs, which is a common thing. But her heart murmurs didn't go away as she grew. They actually got bigger there for a while, and then they started to decrease in size. So every year, they like to check her to make sure that they're still decreasing, because if they don't decrease, obviously they would have to do surgery to patch the holes, because they don't want them to essentially tear her heart apart. So yeah, so that's, don't worry, Maggie's fine. I know a lot of y'all love Maggie. Maggie is just fine. She is still Maggie. Believe me, she's still Maggie. We'll get to her in a few minutes. But I need to have that done as well, so we will be making a trip to Billings. But don't worry, it won't affect your videos at all. We'll tell you all about it. Maybe I'll even do like a little, come ride along with us as we drive each other crazy sitting in the car for 5.5 hours. Because Orion hates the trip because he misses school. Now, I'm going to see if on the day we go, if we could possibly leave him with Jack's mom and see if he can spend the day with Jack's mom. The problem is we usually have to make those appointments hella early in the morning. So I would essentially have to drop Orion off at school, and then Jack's mom would have to pick him up, feed him dinner and everything else. So I have to make sure it's okay with her, because Orion hates making that trip for no reason. He misses school, and then he hates makeup work. So he doesn't want to go. He never wants to go. Even though when we get back from trips like that, if we don't take him, I know he'll do. Did you guys go out to dinner? Did you do anything fun without me? Did you go here? Did you go there? Like, he'll want to go. So I'm debating whether or not I'm taking him or not. But we do need to have her seen by the cardiologist and the neurologist to make sure she's doing okay. Orion has his asthma appointment here in the next couple of weeks as well to make sure that his asthma is under control. He seems to be doing just fine after his last little stint of getting sick there. So yeah, but Maggie, for those that are like, oh my gosh, Maggie, don't worry. Again, Maggie's fine. Maggie spent the weekend torturing everyone, and you know, she was throwing fits because she wanted somebody to play with her. And after Jack left, she couldn't fathom playing by herself. Now, I've taught my children to be very independent when it comes to playing because, one, I made you a sibling, so I'm not going to be spending every single waking moment of my day playing with you. No, that's not a thing. You need to learn how to play independently so that if there is a time where something's happening, like mommy's filling out paperwork at a doctor's office or mommy's unavailable to play with you right now because something's going on, you can entertain yourself and don't need me to entertain you. I am not a circus clown. So I've taught my kids to be independent when it comes to playing by themselves, which is why you guys don't hear a lot of stories about Orion, because usually he's entertaining himself. Now that Maggie, no. I don't know where Maggie missed that lesson on independent play, but she missed it. Like, she gets so upset if nobody wants to play with her. I had just finished eating dinner. I was really tired yesterday. I didn't sleep the best the night before. And she was like, Mommy, will you play with me? Nope. I'm tired. And she's like, please? No. We can play Barbies. Now, this is how you know I was tired. Nope. I'm like, I don't want to play Barbies. Mommy is so tired. Like, literally, I was trying to hold my eyes open. I was so tired. My body hurt. I thought I was getting sick. And I'm just like, no, I can't. I hurt. I don't feel good. I just want to lay here. You know, Mr. Coffee looks at me. He's like, are you getting sick? I'm like, I don't know. So she got upset because nobody wanted to play with her. So she ran off and threw a fit, which, you know, I don't negotiate with terrorists. So I was just like, well, you're just going to sit there and throw a fit. So I went over to her room where she was throwing her fit and I closed the door. Well, if she wants to throw a fit, she can throw a fit by herself. Whatever. She can have her own little pity party parade. So then she comes out and she's like, why doesn't anybody want to play with me? I'm like, well, if you weren't acting like a brat, then people might want to play with you. Now, just as real as I keep it with you guys, I keep it with my kids because I want them to know this is the real world. There's not sugarcoat. I don't sugarcoat stuff for them either. They're kids, so you have to sugarcoat a little bit. But for the most part, if they're being a brat, I will tell them you're acting like a brat, and that's why your brother doesn't want to play with you. Just so they get an idea of what the real world is like. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing like your kids not knowing about the real world, and then they get out into the real world, and they are sadly mistaken thinking it's full of unicorn farts and rainbows, folks. So I tend to be real with the kids. So, you know, I'll tell Maggie, if you're acting like a brat, I'll tell her she's acting like a brat. So, which some people might see that as mean, but it's not mean. It's essentially really telling her, you know, you're misbehaving. So, like, stop. She doesn't. She keeps going. She keeps going. She's crying and stomping. And then she decides, well, I'm going to play with the dogs. She got to the point where even the dogs didn't want to play with her because she kept teasing Killian with, he has a bunch of old socks that Mr. Coffee had. Don't worry, they're clean. What we do for toys for the dogs, because the dogs are heavy chewers. Now, they have some heavy chewing toys that they love to play with, but they love playing tug of war. So what we did was with a bunch of, which I did this when Mr. Coffee was at work one day. So if you have dogs that are heavy chewers like mine, this might be an idea for you for your spouse's old clothing and or socks. So what I did was I took a couple of pairs of Mr. Coffee's holy socks and I tied knots in them so that the dogs could play tug of war with them. And she was teasing Killian with one of the pairs of socks. And so essentially after, I don't know, 20 minutes of her doing this, Killian essentially just went over, pushed her over, and then went and laid back down. Like, he was laying down until she woke him up and was like, Killian, do you want to play? And of course, Killian's always ready to play. So she's over there taunting him with the socks. She won't give it to him. He got mad, pushed her over, and he went and sat down. Killian's like, yeah, no, I'm not about that life, Toots. I'm just going to leave you there. So then she tried to get Daisy to play. Daisy just rolls over on her back and goes back to sleep. And then she gets mad because the dogs don't want to play with her. So finally I get up and I go, okay, let's play. Now, I don't play a whole lot with the kids. Now, we play cards and stuff. Like, I don't play with the kids. Mostly because, you know how it's always like you're scared to hurt your children. I'm the opposite. I'm scared of getting hurt. Whenever I play with my kids, like actually like physically play with them, I get hurt. What was it? Last year, I broke my big toe. I've had my nose broken. I've had my finger broken. All playing with my children. So now you can see my fear of playing with my children. So I don't physically play with them a whole lot. I'm not going to lie. I'm afraid of my children in that aspect. And the other aspect, no, because mama crazy and mommy will hurt someone. But in the playing with aspect, no, because I always get hurt when I play with my children. Like when we play, okay? So I'm just like, I don't want to play, but I'm going to play just so she stops because she's driving everybody nuts. I go to try to play with her. She hits my bad finger. Now, if you don't remember or you weren't in my live, I hurt my finger. Well, I didn't hurt it. Sort of I did. So I was opening a box and my nail got caught on a piece of the string from the tape on the box. Because Walmart uses this weird tape on their box and it has strings in it. My nail got caught on it and ripped itself up. Hurt like hell. And so I had a Band-Aid on my finger. I don't have the Band-Aid on it now because the nail is finally starting to grow back. Surprisingly, it's grown back pretty fast. Which my nails never grow back this fast. So I was shocked when I took the Band-Aid off this morning and I was like, oh, okay, I can use it. I just don't want it on camera. So I've been trying to hide it, which is why my hand is like collapsed to my palm right now. But, it stopped bleeding. The nail is growing back on it. My nails are still tinged red because I did dye my hair this weekend. Which was hilarious because nobody noticed. I dyed it Friday and nobody noticed. And I was like, yes. Now, I am 35 years old, so I don't feel I need to have bright red hair. I just wanted it to be a light burgundy-ish color. I love the color burgundy for my hair. It goes well with my facial features, so I like burgundy. So that's what I did, and nobody noticed. And by the time Mr. Coffee got home, it was dark, so he just, saw my black hair and was like, oh, well, hey, you got your hair out, because usually I'm wearing a hair cap. And I was like, yeah, I had to go read to the kids at school today. And he goes, oh, God, how'd that go? So I was like, I'll tell you in live. So when I went live, that was the first time he heard about me crop dusting the little boy, too. So he just gave me this look like, oh, my God, you crop dusted a child. And I was like, hey, he deserved it, okay? He was being a butthole. Anyways. So, let's see, did I get all the Y's? I think I did. Nope. I lied. Look, I'm going to put the Y's away. Do you ever play chicken with your canvas where you're telling yourself you're going to put the symbol away just to see if any other symbols pop out at you? Like, I feel like I'm going insane. Like right now I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 W's I missed. How did I miss all those W's? So we're going to put the Y away and watch 7 of them pop out. But yeah, so I'm sitting there playing with Maggie and she catches my bad finger. And I'm like, oh my God, it starts bleeding again. So I was like, I'm done. So I played with her for a good 10 minutes. Well, then she got mad because why didn't I come back to continue playing? Let's see, there's a Y right there. I just looked right there and there was no Y. Now all of a sudden there's a Y. And I was like, Mommy's finger hurts. I'm really tired, honey. Can we play later? And she's like, no, I want to play now. There's another Y. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not happening. How about you take your little tail to your room since you seem to have a little bit of an attitude problem. You need to get that adjusted before you talk to Mama again because you're not talking to me like that. You must be talking to the person down the street. And she's like, I'm going to run away. Okay, you want me to pack your bag for you? I'll put a pack of peanut butter crackers in there and everything. And she just looked at me and she's like, yes, I want 2 packs. I'm like, oh, no. You didn't buy these. You get 1 pack. You ever tell your parents you're going to run away and they pack your bag for you? I'm that type of parent. Here you go. Here's your bag. Here's your pawpaw bear. He can talk to you while you walking down the street. Don't forget to put your thumb out because that's how you get the people to pick you up to take you where you want to go. She goes, I'm going to run away to Pawpaw's house. I'm like, oh, you think so? Now, my dad don't play when it comes to kids, okay? You don't throw fits in front of Pawpaw. So I called Pawpaw and I was like, your granddaughter's going to run away. She's coming to your house. And he goes, what's wrong with my Maggie, baby? What Magaboo, what's wrong? Why are you running away to Pawpaw's house? You can come to Pawpaw's house, but why are you running away to Pawpaw's house? I'm like, tell Pawpaw how you were throwing a fit this morning. The moment I said throw a fit, Pawpaw was like, oh, hell no. You ain't coming to my house throwing no damn fit. What wrong with you, little girl? You better stop misbehaving for your mama. Don't make Pawpaw come up there. Then she ain't had nothing to say. Then she was quiet. And I was like, go ahead, run away to Pawpaw's house. You think I'm mad? You think I'm bad? Go to Pawpaw's house, throw in a fit. See what happened to you. You won't like it. You'll be running home real quick. Yo, you think that deterred her from misbehaving all day? No. She still continued to misbehave. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, look, one of us has to play with her because I'm getting tired of hearing her cry. And, you know, she just wants to play. Why don't you go play with her? Mr. Coffee usually is playing video games. He ain't worried about nobody else. So, like, I'm like, why don't you go play with her? And he does play with the kids, but not very often. Because by the time he gets home, he's freaking exhausted and sore and all that other good jazz. Plus, he only sees them for about an hour before they go to bed. So he's just like, you know, usually he's spending that hour fussing at them to eat their food, because why would they eat a hot, delicious meal that was prepared for them that they didn't have to worry about cooking? That's not a thing. So let's, you know, play at the dinner table and feed the dogs our food. Anyways, so he goes to go try to play with her. She smacks him in the nose with her baby. She's spinning and twirling around with her baby doll. And it's one of those babies with the hard plastic head. Well, she's spinning around and he tells her, you know, I hear him tell her, no, don't do that, honey. Just sit down with daddy and play Barbies. And she goes, but I want to spin. I want to spin. I don't know what kind of sugary crack my daughter was on, but she was hyper as all get out yesterday. And she just wanted to spin. So he's like, well, you're going to break something if you don't stop spinning with that baby doll head like that. Well, as soon as he said that, you hear the whack across his face, knocked his glasses off his face. He just looks up at her and she's still spinning. He's like, stop spinning. And I was like, uh-oh. So of course I get up, I go check to see what's going on. And I'm like, okay, what's happening? And he's like, looking at me, his nose starts bleeding a little bit, and I'm like, that's right, you were playing with the kids. I'm not the only one that gets hurt when we play with the kids. So yeah, like, it's a thing in our house that if you're not playing good enough with the kids unless you're hurting yourself. So essentially we need bubble wrap to play with the kids. But he was just like, she whacked me in the nose with the baby doll, and I'm thinking, and I didn't know which baby doll it was, but then she like had it in her hand and she dropped it when he said it. And I was like, ooh, it's one of the hard plastic with the gigantically hard head. Oh my God. I was just like, ouch, town population you, bro. Like, ow. So yeah, so we finally got her to settle down about 6:30 because we went, okay, it's time to read. Maggie won't read for us. She'll read at school, and her teacher says she's doing just fine with her reading. She does still mix up a lot of words. We're having her tested for dyslexia, because she will say was when she sees the word saw. Happens every time. And she's also showing some other signs of it. So we're going to have her tested for dyslexia. But we got her to sit down and read, and that usually will not only calm her down, it will tire her out. Why I hadn't thought about it before, I don't know. Because right before dinner, I thought about, oh, well, I'm going to build her a couch fort, and then she'll leave me alone for a while. And she did. For about 2 hours, she sat in that couch fort. And then she kind of started trying to fall asleep. And I was like, oh, no, you got school in the morning. You ain't taking no nap today. Not today, Satan. So I made her stay awake. Because if I let her sleep, she won't wake up. Or she won't want to go to bed for school the next day. And then she's groggy when she wakes up. The whole 9 yards. So I'm like, no, we're not letting you go to sleep today, Toots. So I made her get up and then jump around and do, like, exercises with me while she was waking up. And you know, Mr. Coffee was making dinner for us. I was like, yeah, we're going to keep you awake because I don't want you grouchy tomorrow. She was actually pretty good this morning when we got up. She said she was still a little tired, which is normal. It's, you know, going back to school after a weekend. I mean, hell, most people can't handle going back to work after a weekend. So going back to school has to be just as bad. So she did actually, but she did do good this morning when she woke up. She was all right. And it was just a long day, and trying to get her to read to us, that took about an hour and a half for her to read 2 short stories. And she did do it, but not without a lot of frustration. And, you know, she's still doing the sounded out thing. Ast. Pizza? Bitch. Now, I didn't call her a bitch, but I wanted to because, oh my God, you know what the word, like, she would purposely mispronounce the words and then look at us because she she wants us to give her the answer. She doesn't want to try to find it out for herself. So we have to make sure to be careful whenever she doesn't know a word to get her to sound it out, because we can't be giving her all the answers, folks. We can't do it. But that's my parenting for this weekend and how the weekend went. So it went pretty good. I have a couple of unboxings coming. I actually have something coming from Treasure Studios Art, believe it or not. I actually have 2 canvases coming from them. I saw their new selection, and there's a fox canvas and a rabbit canvas that I really liked. Now, usually a lot of the stuff on there isn't my cup of tea. Not that they're bad canvases. She actually has really good quality. It's just not my cup of tea. So when I saw the 2 paintings that I picked, I was like, definitely a lot better than, you know, everything else I've seen. So I have some TSA canvases coming I'm excited about. Oli and a couple of other stores. So you'll have to stay tuned to find out what these other stores are. But as for me, folks, I think that's it for me today. If I add another clip to this, it will just shoot over to the other clip. And we're back. Now, I'm sticking my hand to my canvas, so we got to fix that. I'm trying to save my plastic, so if you didn't see the video from yesterday, I will link it. I told you in the last clip that I would probably do this video in 2 parts, just to give you a little bit of a longer whip and chat, because I feel like I kind of cheated you guys out of whip and chats, and you got a lot of whip and rants and reverse diamond paintings, and I'm like, dude, they really deserve like a little bit of a longer whip and chat this week, because yeah. Miss Coffee is on her B game, and Miss Coffee needs to get back to the A game. So we're gonna extend this maybe just like half an hour. So if you're still working along with me, how about you put a little emoji into the comment section? Again, it just tells me how far into the videos people actually get. So that I know better to, you know, figure out how long I can make these videos. Because I don't want to make a 4-hour whip and chat and then somebody like makes it 20 minutes in and they're like, nah, that's too much. So yeah. I am actually putting drills down again. No mistakes have happened. I'm very happy about this. So we're putting drills down. As you can see, we were working here yesterday, and now we have finished that section. And we are working up here, which for the parade tomorrow, you might just see the section that is down there at the bottom, because I already recorded that clip for tomorrow, just because I like to be prepared for days like today. So have you ever had someone in your house get sick and you get mad that they got sick and you want to send them back to wherever they came from with the cold? That's where I'm at right now in the house. Mr. Coffee came home sick yesterday, so he is here today. No, you won't hear him or anything. He's sleeping. So if you hear snoring in the background, that might be Mr. Coffee, but he's in the room, so hopefully you can't hear him back there. I laid awake last night, and I know he's sick just because of the fact that I laid awake last night because I couldn't sleep because his nose was stuffed up, and all I could do was hear this whistling sound coming from his nose all night. And then I started making like some really cool beats in my head, like I'm getting ready to start a music video. I'm making these cool beats in my head because it's the only thing I can do to keep from going insane from listening to the constant whistle of his nose. And so he's all stuffy and he's all achy, and he did try to go into work at least, and they were just like, yeah, no, take him, just go home. So they sent him back home. And I told him, that's the sad part, I told him to stay home in the first place because he didn't look good yesterday. Usually walking the dogs will kind of like wake him up at the end of the night because, you know, the cold air and everything else. That didn't work. He took a shower. That didn't work. And I was like, yeah, you're definitely sick. And then he kept saying he was cold. And I'm like, where's the Lysol and the bleach? Because why is it every time I send somebody out of this house, they come back with germs and get sick? And I'm like a good neighbor, keep that crap over there. Like, why do they have to bring this in the house? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, who sent him home with this? Because I'm about to send him back to you with the same cold you sent him to me with. And they're like, nah, we're going to send him home. This is not fair because I cannot then send him back to work. This is not ping pong. So we talked for a little bit this morning, and then he went to go lay down. So it kind of knocks me off my normal routine because I'm not used to him being home so early. And he walked the dogs for me this morning, and it was weird because I went to go take the kids to school, drop the kids off. I was expecting to have to go to the dog park because that's what I normally do, and I almost missed the turn to come back to the house because I'm so used to just going to the dog park after picking up the kids. So yeah. All right, sorry about that. I had to pause to go take care of some business there. So yeah, so Mr. Coffee came home yesterday with a cold. Maggie came home with an attitude. Orion just came home. Thankfully, one of them came home normal. So it was a little bit of a rough evening last night, and I try to keep the kids from going to sleep when they come home because Maggie has this bad habit of, does anybody else's kids try to fall asleep like when they get home from school? Like when it's bedtime the night before, they're just like, no, I don't want to go to sleep. I'm not tired. And then the next day they drag and they're so like ornery. You take and send them to school. They come home and they're like exhausted. And it didn't help that not only did Maggie come home with attitude, I go to pick her up from the school and she's like, Mom, are you going to be mad at me? Now, anytime anyone, not even just children, just anyone in general goes, are you going to be mad at me? That tells you immediately that what? You're going to be mad at them. So I'm like, Maggie, why would I be mad at you, honey? Like, what reason do I have to be mad? And she goes, I did something bad. Something bad happened. And I was like, what? Well, what bad happened? And I'm thinking, God knows what, because it's Maggie. So, did you set the school on the back on fire? Did you hurt another child? Which, then I'm thinking, if she would have hurt another child, they would have sent home a letter saying, hey, by the way, Maggie's hitting people again. So I was like, what'd you do? And she's like, I ripped my pants. Now I'm thinking that my daughter is walking around with her butt cheeks hanging out at school. And I'm like, why didn't they call me? Why didn't they let me know that something was up? Even though I record on my phone, I usually have it on silent. And so that when I'm recording, it doesn't get interrupted, which still happens. It happened last week with my sister, and that's the reason why I put the drills down in the wrong spot. So, but on my phone, I have it set to where only certain calls can come through that will interrupt my phone call. And that's okay. Like if it's the school with something with the kids, or if it's Mr. Coffee and he has an emergency, or my parents. So I'm like, okay, what do you mean you ripped your pants? Y'all, why do these people have my child walking around this school looking like a hobo? She had a big old hole, and she had on tights, by the way. She didn't have on jeans. She had on tights. Because they wear their snowsuits, she'll put on normal clothes. We stopped with the thermals because she hates them, and she says they get too hot. And they kept sending her home in just the thermals, and that would make me mad. So I'm like, I didn't get you dressed this morning. Like, literally fight to get you dressed for you to come home in thermals. Like, this is not going to be a thing. So, oh, that's the same color as that. So that's not even supposed to be there. We're going to go over one. I've learned as well, so this might be something that helps some people out. I've learned that using a multi-placer, whenever I place the drills down, sometimes it will place your drills in the wrong spot and you have to shift them. Like if you can look between your drills and you see a symbol and the drill is sitting like, it looks like it's in between the symbols, try moving your drills around. I learned that on one of my canvases that I had popping drills on, that I had been putting too many symbols down in one spot. So there's a little tip for you. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't like that they send her home in just her thermals. Like she'll walk around the school in just her tiny little thermals. So I'm like, I don't like that. So I stopped putting the thermals on her. She's been wearing regular clothes and she's been a lot happier. So I was like, all right, fine. Plus it's easier to get her dressed in the morning. So I'm thinking, okay, you have a hole in your pants. She takes her snowsuit off when we get home. Big old hole in the knee of her pants, like the entire way, almost the entire way up her thigh. And she's like, look, Mommy, I got a hole. Y'all, why wouldn't she take the pants off? And then I literally spent the entire afternoon asking her to take the pants off. I'm like, you can put on jammies. Because, of course, they're my kids, so they love being in their jammies. So I was like, you can put on jammies. And she's like, no, I like these. It gives me a breeze. And I'm like, gives you a breeze. Okay. So she came home with a gigantic hole in her pants. And I'm I'm just in shock because, you know, they had my daughter walking around like a hobo and they didn't think to call me and be like, hey, by the way, your daughter has a giant hole in her pants. Would you mind bringing her some more pants since it's only like 10 degrees outside? No, they just let her walk around like that. I'm so happy that she was having fun at school. And usually they won't even do that sometimes. Sometimes they'll just give her pants out of the lost and found, which if they're not claimed after so long, they'll donate the lost and found findings to the local homeless shelter, because they have a day where they actually have parents come in to check the lost and found for anything that might have been lost. And if you don't pick up the stuff, then they will save some of it for in case, you know, those kids have accidents or they rip their pants. And I'm thinking, you know, the least you could have done is put the poor girl in like some of the lost and found pants. You didn't even bother to put her in the lost and found pants. You just let her walk around like she's a hobo. So there was that. And then when Mr. Coffee got in, he just looked like death run over. And I'm just like, oh no. No, 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 no. And all I can think of was, I'm not going to bed at 10:30. I'm not doing it. I am an adult. I will refuse to go to bed at 10:30 tonight. He just looked tired and run down. And he said he wasn't feeling the best. And I was just like, oh, so you're going to take whatever this is they gave you and take it back to them tomorrow? Or are you going to stay here with me and try to make me get it? And then after a while, I just made him to go lay down to go get some rest because he looked exhausted and he was trying to watch TV with me. But I was like, look, I got videos to record. You're going to have to go lay down somewhere. And he, of course, is a giant man-child. So he's like, I'm not even tired. 2 minutes later, you look over, he's asleep. Yeah, why is it such a big thing for people to admit when they're tired? Like, why? You would think you're asking them to donate all their organs while they're still alive. If I mention tired to the kids, if I tell them that, like, if you say, Maggie, you're tired. No, I'm not. I'm not tired. Like, she throws a fit. And I'm like, it's okay to be tired, folks. Like, what the hell? Hey, are you tired? Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired as hell. Like, why is being tired such a 4-letter word, so to say? Like, every time I ask somebody in my house if they're tired, you would think I was asking them to borrow all their limbs or something. Like, they get so irritated. So he said he wasn't tired, but obviously all over his face he looked like he had been run over by a Mack truck. So I was like, just go lay down. So he went to go lay down. So he's asleep. Kids are at school. Just me and the dogs. I got a phone call from one of my friends this morning. Her and her mom. I haven't talked to her in a while. She's someone that she's my childhood friend that I keep in contact with from South Carolina. And she just moved into a new place. And her mom were talking to me this morning. It was nice catching up with those folks. So yeah, so it's been a nice morning. And last night wasn't too bad. My biggest thing is, you know, the whole I make dinner and Maggie decides that she doesn't eat food today. And I'm like, I love how you'll eat food at school, but you won't eat food here. She doesn't even eat food all the time at school because her lunch account is always off from Orion's. They get the same amount of money put into their account every week. And somehow, some way, Orion always ends up lower than her. And her teacher's like, well, she doesn't really eat a whole lot. She'll snack on stuff and she grazes, but she doesn't like eat. And I'm like, that growth spurt's going to come soon. And she's going to eat me out of house and home. I just know it. I just know it. This is how this works. So I'm hoping to have Mort done by February 14th. Because as you guys know, I'm doing this as a Valentine's Day gift. And I would like to have it done by Valentine's Day. That and my friend's mom asked me to do a sunflower diamond painting for her. She saw diamond paintings at her local craft shop, and she, like, with her eyesight, she's like, yeah, no, that's not happening. So she asked me if I would do one for her, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do one for you. Now, I should know never to agree to these things, because the moment you make something work for me, I then never want to do it. I don't want to do it. Something about adding that add-on pressure of having to do something that I wasn't originally going to do in the first place. Yeah, it puts a little pressure on you. Luckily, though, it's just a 30 by 40, I believe, and it shouldn't take me too long. Now, watch this thing come in this house. I think it's a 12 by 16, which I believe is a 30 by 40. Watch this thing come in this house, and it'd be like a 80 by 80 sunflower, and I'm like, oh, God, I have to mail this back to her. So, I have to do a sunflower. I'm probably not going to do it right away, and she's in no rush to get it, so I'm not worried about it. I do need to figure out what my next project's going to be. I'm going to take my usual break from diamond painting after I finish this one, and I can't wait to get out of the water. Do you see how close I am to getting out of the water? Oh my god, I'm so excited. So I'm going to take my normal break, my normal 24 to 48 hour break from this one. Probably do some cross stitching. I did start a new pattern. And I got to figure out which project I'm going to do next, because I really want to work on a King's Path, but then I really want to work on a couple of other projects. Like I want to finish the sunflower project that I had started for my How to Diamond Paint video. I have more experiments coming for the what can we do to save these double-sided adhesive canvases. I had a bunch of ideas after that video, and I wasn't expecting everybody to, you know, be so like excited about it, I guess. So I'm just like, oh, now I have a ton of ideas. I'm going to try all the things. And as you can see, I'm trying not to cut my paper up here so that I can recycle and use it. And I'm going to recycle and use it to see if this paper will also work, because the film that I got for the experiment is different. It's a little bit thinner than the paper that, like these, that comes on it, or the one that comes on Diamond Art Clubs. And I've been doing really good at not essentially cutting up or, you know, sectioning off my clear coat plastic. So I want to reuse it on other canvases. And so, like, there's a few canvases that I want to work on. I know I can't do them all at once. My brain is telling me to do them all at once, but I'm like, no, you can do one at a time or you're going to burn yourself out. So I have to figure out which one to do next, because there's a couple of little snack size paintings I want to do. A King's Path, Soul Keeper was the next one I wanted to get into, just because, again, I want to see what it looks like, how it differs from the one I have now. And yeah, like, I have all these projects I want to do, and there's not enough time in the day. There's not enough days in the week for all these projects. Like, I feel like I should do a rotation, but I feel like if I do a rotation, I won't get anything done. Does anybody do a rotation when they're doing their diamond paintings? Like, you have, you know, a snack size you work on Saturday and Sundays, like snack size Saturday or something. And then, like, during the week, you pull out maybe 1 or 2 canvases and work on those. I feel like it would be a great way to not get bored with your kit. But then I feel like you would feel like you'd never got anything done. Like, you wouldn't be able to make, like, how much progress can you make in a day? Or, like, say you do 2 days worth of work on a kit. I feel like it would take you 2 or 3 times as long to finish it versus if you just focused on one kit. Now, I know a lot of you actually work on more than one kit at a time, and kudos to y'all, because I've tried doing that, and it drives me insane. I can have 12 cross-stitch patterns going at once, but I can't, for some reason, get my brain to be okay with having more than one diamond painting going. So then there's that. So I don't know. I got to figure out which canvas I want to do next and get to it, because they're not going to complete themselves. And I want to get this stash down a little bit, because I got to make room for the new diamond painting. So I got to get rid of this stash somehow. So best way to do that is just ain't nothing to it but to do it. That and, like, coloring, you guys. Oh my gosh. I think you guys should be getting a Mindful Monday this week. I'm not 100% sure. It just depends on what all comes in the mail this week. But I'm pretty sure you guys will get a Mindful Monday this week. Hannah Lynn, her Patreon she came out with her new Patreon pages, and I might color that or one of the images out of one of her books. But I really want to color the new image she did for her Patreons, because it's really cute. It's a Cupid fairy sitting on top of a cupcake. And we all know Miss Coffee loves cupcakes. So I'm excited to color that. I gotta make sure I don't miss any, because last night I was getting so irritated. Every time I would go to put the tray away, I would find like 6 or 7 different places where I missed diamonds. Like, I thought I was done. Like, even right here. I don't know. Oh, you can't see it. I missed a diamond. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, seriously? How did I miss? So, yeah. So, I have to keep going back. That drives me nuts. And with rounds, for me with rounds, it's harder to make sure that you get all the spots. I don't know why it's not like that for squares. That's an S, not an A. Oh, there we go. I don't know why it's like that, but for me, it's always a lot harder with rounds to make sure that I get all the spots. Gotta actually make sure you can see what I'm doing here, because I'm actually making great progress on. Oh, I didn't even have a diamond on there. I'm making great progress on this. Like, one, I thought it wouldn't take me 2 weeks to finish it, but 'tis life. It's not a race. But I do hope to have it done by Valentine's Day, which is, well, today is Tuesday, which you guys will see this later on today. So next Friday? Oh my gosh, next Friday is Valentine's Day. Oh snap. I don't think we have plans. At least I don't have any plans. Maybe Mr. Coffee make plans. I don't know. Again, we never really celebrated Valentine's Day before, so it'll be interesting if we do, because we're both probably just going to end up looking at each other like, okay, what do we do? I mean, we don't do like big extravagant things because, you know, we got kids, so we got to take them with us. And I'm one of those people that I don't trust people with my kids to watch them. And I don't really know anybody around here that can watch them longer enough for me to feel comfortable with. Like, the lady across the hall, she'll, you know, listen in for them whenever I go walk the dogs. But that's about as much as I trust her. Like, I don't, no. So, I don't know why that's over here. But I don't know. Like, I feel like if I leave my kids with somebody, they're not going to take care of them the best way. And for some reason, like, does anybody else feel like that when it comes to their kids? Like, nobody can take care of them like you do, so you don't let nobody take care of them. Like, I kind of feel selfish in a way, but not really. I mean, just think about it. Could you imagine babysitting Maggie? Guys, it's hard enough being Maggie's mommy. But I couldn't imagine leaving her with someone and being like, I feel like I'd be like, all right, so here's the stuff for Orion and Maggie. Good luck. And they'd be like, what? Nothing. Don't worry about it. Maggie, please don't burn this one's house down. If you want something, please ask. Don't just go grab stuff. And please don't ride her dog. And I don't know. I feel like Maggie needs to come with a disclaimer. Like, she needs her own, like tags and clothes. She should have a tag that she wears when she goes out places that gives people a disclaimer. Look, she's cute and adorable. Yes, we know this. But don't let that fool you. She will burn your house down and ask you to make cookies in the flames. So please don't tell her she's cute, because she will take and use that to her advantage. And Maggie's smart, so she would. So I feel like Maggie comes with a disclaimer. And the sad part is, usually whenever we lived in Pennsylvania and I would let my friends babysit her, she's a peach for everybody else. She just likes to drive mommy insane. Why do kids always act better for everyone else but their parents? You would think they would act better for their parents than everybody else, but no. And then I think my dad used to tell me something like, it's because they want to go back to wherever it was that they went, so they act like they behave. And then the moment they're out of the person's sight, they misbehave because they don't want them to see the true side of them. I'm like, no, you always be yourself. You show everyone who you are. Like Maggie's teacher, again, this poor woman, she's a saint, because I'm like, I don't know how you deal with Maggie and other students. I can barely just deal with Maggie. And she's like, oh, Maggie's a peach. I love Maggie. You know, everybody loves Maggie. She's a social little butterfly in here. I'm like, wow, she doesn't even really talk that much at home, but okay. There's days where Maggie's a chatterbox, and there's days where Maggie's just like, leave me alone. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. Don't think about me. Why are you even sitting there existing? And so I'm like, I don't know. But I'm always worried about, like, somebody watching my kids. You hear too many horror stories nowadays in the news and stuff. So, like, they've never been to daycare. They've been babysat by a couple of friends before, but nothing, like, long-term. And usually, you know, we're the type of parents, we don't like to be away from them too long anyways. So, anytime we have gone out for dinner or whatever for Valentine's Day, we usually just take them with us. But if we did go out for dinner, where would I want to go? Because we always go to Famous Dave's. But there's that place, Doc Holidays, that I've never been to. Has anybody ever heard of a Doc Holiday? I'm pretty sure somebody has. What's it like? Like, I'm worried because I don't do well with change. Okay, if you can't tell, I don't do well with change. So I'm like, a little part of me is freaking out because I'm like, if he asks me, I'm gonna be like, I want to go to Doc Holidays. But I don't I don't want to go because I'm scared that I'm not going to like any of the food. My biggest fear is getting something to eat and then not liking it. And when I was little, if you went to a restaurant and got food, you were forced to eat it because mom and dad ain't paying for you to throw something in the trash. So I think I still have that ingrained in my head that if I don't like it, I have to eat it. And I'm like, that and Orion's starting to get curious about things. Not like that, dirty birds. He's wanting to try like weird things like avocado toast. And I'm like, look, listen, we can't do that here. And he's like, why not, mommy? I'm like, because I'm not cutting up avocados. I'm not purchasing avocados. I don't even know what avocados taste like myself. And I have to taste it before I give it to my kids. Because if I don't like it, I know they won't either. But then again, Orion likes things that I don't know. Which one? I think it's Maggie. Maggie likes sushi. Orion doesn't. But we at least know that for right now, they're safe on their seafood allergy. Because Mr. Coffee would make homemade sushi. Oh, I got a bad drill. Mr. Coffee would make homemade sushi and then let the kids have some. So, yeah. But Orion's not a fan of that. But I guess he heard something on TV about avocados. And he's like, he remembers when Minna was here over the summer and she kept asking for avocado toast. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't even know how to prepare avocado. It sounds disgusting. And the only thing about avocado I know, okay, is I saw a picture, and this is why you shouldn't scroll Facebook looking for things or online. Like, just like they tell you don't look up your symptoms on the internet because you'll end up with gonosyphilis herpelitis. You don't look up certain things on the internet like avocados. I looked up avocados and there was a picture of someone who had stabbed themselves through the hand trying to cut an avocado. And I'm like, that would have been me. This is why we can't have nice things. And I have no problem telling you guys, nope, not doing the avocado. But Orion, he's trying to branch out and find new foods that he likes. Meanwhile, Maggie's still over here eating air particles because she refuses to eat anything I cook. And she's still doing the, like the other day, mommy, I want oatmeal. Made her oatmeal. I don't want this. What? Why? Hopefully this is a phase that she grows out of very quickly because it gets old real quick. And trying to essentially make sure she eats enough. Like I have to give, like she has to take the extra vitamins and stuff now because she refuses to eat food, even when she asks for it. She asked for chicken nuggets the other day. She got chicken nuggets, wouldn't eat them. I was like, I just paid for chicken nuggets that you don't even want. And she's just like, oh, well, I was hungry and now I'm not. In the time it took me to get our order, you're not hungry? And she's like, well, yeah, it took a long time, Mom. It took forever. Now, I'll give her that. It did take a while to get the food, but I know she had to have still been hungry. Like, come on now. And I checked her room. There's no peanut butter crackers in there. I've evacuated her room of all peanut butter cracker wrappers. She should have 0 peanut butter cracker wrappers in her room. I've vacuumed it a few times to get all the crumbs up off the floor so she doesn't get ants. Because, Lord knows, Punxsutawney Phil told us it's going to be an early spring. Now, if I don't have an early spring, I'm going to go back to Pennsylvania, and me and Punxsutawney Phil are going to have words because I need the warm. We actually got decent sunshine today. Like, it's still sunny out. Normally, it would have been overcast by now, but it's still sunny out. But don't let the sun fool you because the sun is a liar, and at this current point in time, it is 15 degrees outside. So yeah, don't let that sun fool you. It's like, oh, look, come outside. It's warm out here, and then you go out there and freeze your tater tots off. No, thank you. No, I'm good. I'm good. But I think I'm going to let you guys go. I don't want to make the whip and chat too super duper long so you guys can't like catch up on the other videos if you missed them. Because again, I don't like putting up double videos because it's hard for some people to keep up. So this, of course, you know, you'll see it whenever you see it. But I didn't want to make it super duper long. So you're probably going to get cut back over to the other videos so I can say goodbye to you guys. So thank you again for watching. And that's going to be it for this clip. With that said, thank you so much for watching and listening to my random ramblings of the coffee house weekend. I hope you got a lot of work done. I did, as you can see. I got a lot of her bones done, and by the time we come back tomorrow, I'm hoping all of this will be filled in, and we'll move up to her rib cage because her flower up here is, her flower right there is all all special gems, so I can't wait to get to that. So I'm hoping by the time I see you guys tomorrow, this part will be complete, and then we'll be moved up to that point, which we're already over halfway done with the kit anyway, so it'll definitely be done by Valentine's Day. Mr. Coffee's loving how it's turning out, and so am I, so thank you to the folks over at DIY Moonshop, or Die Moonshop, for the amazing canvas. It looks glorious, darling. And I saved her butt for you guys. So with that said, folks, thank you again so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave those down in the comment section below. If you made it to this point of the video, please give me a little smiley face in the comment section below. So that just lets me know that you guys are actually watching to the end and I'm not just sitting here jibber jabbering for no reason. So yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you are new to the channel and like to see more random crazy videos just like this one, please feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified anytime I randomly decide to put up a video. And believe me, it's random. With that said, folks, I'm now going to have to bid you adieu. But not before I remind you, like I always try to be kind, be courteous, be cool. Bye, guys.